Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Blueprints, where look, I did the thing. It took a couple. It took a couple of days. First of all, I didn't realize the first day after the previous recording finished, I went to a bunch of trouble and got a bunch of dice, and managed to draft the shrine, only to discover that as long as you have a blessing active, the bowl is still full of the coins from that blessing, and you can't re-bless. So I did, of course, steal all the coins back, and do 2 days of being cursed because it was faster than the duration of the blessing. And then it's been a day or two, but we have a couple of rooms that drop a couple of dice, a couple of bedrooms that drop a couple of dice pretty commonly now, so it wasn't that hard to find it again. I only had to re-roll 3 times, I think, today. And I just went down to the next amount of coins because I knew we had dropped. I knew we had put in a few amounts in the low 30s because our allowance was around there for a while. So I decided to just kind of roll it backwards until we got there, and it turns out 30. 30 works. So the blessing of the monk, blessing of the monk, 4 days. Obviously, we could smash that. We're not going to. So the two rooms that we have been hinted to deliver here are the antechamber and the treasure trove. And I think, what's the rarity on the treasure trove? It's just found floor plans. It's unusual. It's probably better that we hit this. Yeah, let's go call it a day in the treasure trove, and I'll get back into the antechamber's not that hard to get into. We can do it fairly regularly. I don't think there's anything else super pressing that I want to do today. I threw a coin in the well already, so I think we're just gonna this is kind of the only thing that matters to me at this point. Yeah, I don't see any reason that I would do anything other than just go sleep in the treasure trove. So let's get to it. The right way to go is, it turns out it doesn't actually matter which way we move from here. These both lead directly to it. This one totally doesn't. That break room over there does not have a door on this side. It's okay, Obviously, I'm still a little a little gassed. Obviously, there are still things wrong. Also, Blueprints' music has gone completely silent, and I don't care for that at all. This game should have some music. Okay, so we're just calling it a day right here. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame to have to start a day without a key card. And it will be the first time in quite a while, but yeah, I think this is call it a day time. So, very curious how this is going to manifest. This is a room that has 2 doors, so one of them we'll get to see what the other outside doors look like. I'm assuming they're just going to look bricked over like when you've built a door into a wall. What a garden jigsaw house of prayers. Maybe it's just because I grew up with, I was prime paying attention to film's age when the Saw movies were popular, but I do not see how the developer can think that calling the house a jigsaw house is going to make people think of anything other than Saw. Maybe people younger than me don't have an association at quite the same strength, but it seems like a profoundly silly thing to write on that menu to me. So I don't see as there's any reason we would do anything other than just run down there and see what's up, right? Also, it'll give us a bunch of money, which I guess is cool. So I have seen memos in the treasure trove a couple of times since the end of the last episode. None of them were particularly interesting. One of them was just a red printed memo that said the treasure trove's true treasure is not in this room. Thus, I think just confirming the idea that you're supposed to draft it out here because it is in the room, but it's not in the estate, right? So, I mean, that is certainly an unusual look. Oh, right, we have to... Right, I have to have a key. Well, we put it down at the very... Let me go get a key. Here, let's take all this money. Keys... It's just a key. What could it cost? 108 coins? Let's go get ourselves... I'm a little tiniest bit embarrassed that I did not think about that fact. Okay. So, once we've done this, the most obvious thing to do is to try to get to the antechamber and then call it a day there so that we can see the antechamber drafted into this space. But I also think, like, I've been trying to think, like, what other rooms are interesting for this? What other rooms might be useful? Okay, break room feels like the exact answer to our prayers. We've started to see a new symbol, yeah, in the break room. Immediately after we stopped recording every single day, all of a sudden it started doing this thing. And best I can figure, the big X here just means, ignore everything that's in this slice. So like plus 20 plus 13 with an X here means 13. Okay, so plus 1. This whole puzzle is just plus 1. This one is -3 plus a third of 3 squared is going to be 4. I appreciate that it's... well, that's not a useful key. I appreciate that it's like calmed down a little bit and we're consistently getting keys after like 3 puzzles. Yeah, sure, just spider me into the other break room. Fuck it. Because we had a couple of days there where it seemed like it was going to chain forever. We were doing like 7, 8 puzzles per dartboard. That's new. I'm going to assume this means double the instructions in this quadrant or this sector. Yeah, seems like. Not exactly rocket science. Okay, so 10 times 5 is 50 minus 20 twice is 10. Are you kidding me? Well, we did start the day without the key card, so now I cannot believe that. Right? I'm not the only one who sees what the game is doing. Okay, here we go. Storeroom. This is an actual key. And then it's going to turn out to be like the prism key or something. Something you cannot plug into a treasure chest. Hey, dirt pile. Okay. Let's go get whatever it is that we are supposed to be able to get here. I'm assuming it's going to be... I guess I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to be an item rather than a memo, but I guess it could be like a critical piece of information. Something really important to type into one of the computers. But if it is an item, and it's the kind of thing that you have to draft the room into this position for every single time you want. Actually, it's not even letting me interact. Okay, maybe this is not as straightforward as I had hoped. So it's got the symbol of, or the sigil core of Orinda Ares on it, right? This is Orinda Ares. I really don't know what to do with that as far as keys go. I don't think that we've ever seen a key. Maybe it is the prism key. The prism key is the only key I can think of that's like strongly associated with a color. Well, except for the secret garden key, which is obviously extremely green, but it's not like a green key. It's just a, you know what I mean. I mean, it is literally a green key, but you know what I mean. It's not a key that's just associated with the color green. It's a key that's associated with a particular room that happens to be green. So I guess then the move here is just like get me to the antechamber, and we'll try resting up there, and we have to keep our eyes out for a way to discover another weird key, which might be a thing that we discover in the antechamber. I guess for this purpose, like, y'all don't really necessarily need to be hanging around the whole time. You've seen me do this at this point something like 70 times, so I'll just be, I'll be right back. Okay, well, that didn't take a super long time. You know, listen, we sure do get to the antechamber most of the time now. So I am hoping that whatever it is that I'm supposed to do here is something I'm really not able to do, and that I'm not just like missing it. And yeah, let's call it a day right here in the antechamber and see what that does outside. Aside from this, like, there are certainly rooms where it's like convenient to have access to it outside. But I'm not feeling like there are a lot of other rooms out that are going to be like game changing, you know? What a perplexing house of cogs we have constructed here. I don't know. Maybe I need more time to think about it. I'm sort of curious about the garage, honestly. If we could draft the garage and then route power to the garage outside, um, what would the garage door do? But that's really the only one that I came up with. I did hit the mail order room here. Pretty good free stuff. Oh my god, it takes so long when you pick up an item for the game to give you back control of your character in any meaningful way. Also, as you can see, our allowance has gotten up to a pretty nice level here. Alright, so I'm assuming that like we do this and then we still have to like actually draft the doors open. Or we still have to actually like get the doors open the old-fashioned way, right? Does the podium come up? Okay, so this is a really easy way to get your hands on the basement key if you should need to do that. Say, perhaps because there's a tunnel that's being an asshole. Okay, I mean, we could go into the house and try to draft ourselves a throne room and whatnot, but I feel like just running down to the sanctum doors and hitting the switch there, it's a lot of steps in total, but it's certainly going to be faster in terms of actual human lifetime. Actually, is this a faster, fewer steps kind of way to... It probably is, right? I've been taking that path over there, but this is going to put us in the back of that tunnel. And of course, the symbol of Arinda Ares on the elevator control panel does have me thinking. Feel like we were pretty thorough in the rooms down here that we've found. There's of course the old chest chamber, where at some point maybe we want to try one of the other... I've already forgotten actually what the other powers do, but at this point, especially if it actually is the case that the axe is all used up now, probably changing off of the power that we have set. Oh, that's right. This just puts us out here. Right, my map doesn't mean anything here. And this is not even... Well, you know what? It'll work, though. I just gotta remember to put the minecart back. Okay. Inconvenient, but functional. And it is fewer steps. Although it is still a weirdly large number of steps. But yeah, it does make me wonder if the key for that box in the treasure trove is somewhere down here, somewhere that I Somewhere that I had not found it in the area behind the red door, maybe? What's that sound? Huh. I don't know. It's probably nothing. The red door's open, right? Because I think we had the red doors... No? Maybe I switched the boiler room back. I thought I left the red room powered, though, because... Or the red box powered, because I was worried we'd have to get back in there. I must have changed it so that I could get out the other door. Make sure it's actually all the way out of the way. You know, in the end, maybe this doesn't end up being fewer steps. It is like a... The rate of step spend while you're in these like outdoor and tunnely areas seems so arbitrary. All right. Let us but basically, like, if it's somewhere down there where we haven't been thorough enough, it would basically have to be behind the red box door, right? There's not really anywhere else that it could be. But who knows? Maybe it's behind the 46 door in this position right here. Maybe we've totally solved it. Obviously, I'm not feeling super I'm not feeling super confident that that's the case. It's just the shrine? Well, no, it's not exactly... Certainly not exactly the shrine. Okay. Steady is the scepter, deadly is the stone, heavy is the crown, ready is the throne. Steady is the scepter, deadly is the stone. So, ready is the throne. Makes me feel like maybe this is about reclaiming the crown. Steady is the scepter, deadly is the stone, heavy is the crown, ready is the throne. What in this game have we seen that could reasonably be called deadly? The mace, the axe, the dynamite that we set off, which turned out to be like fake baby toy dynamite. I guess not that deadly, but still probably, like, if you just stood right on top of it. This was it though, huh? And there's light for it to shine down. Okay. Well, huh. So obviously I do want to open up the other two doors. We'll see if there's anything behind them. I'm assuming that they will open into rock faces, more or less, but we should absolutely check. Oh, cool. A broken lever. Well, it may be, you know, it may be helpful in the thing I was just talking about. So I guess y'all don't need to necessarily see me do all this again either. Hey, look, it's day 46. What a wonderful day. It's a shame that only things that don't matter are on sale. Right, commissary, kitchen, locksmith, and bookshop. Yeah, certainly not the most compelling anymore. Once upon a time. Okay, yeah, so sorry. Anyway, I'll be right back, y'all. Alright, well, here's one, and we're still close enough to the front of the house that Unless we can see that this is rock from here. I mean, that looks like a door. Although it also looked like... That looked kind of weird. I don't know, whatever. We're going. We're going. We're close enough to the front of the house, we can just go. It did not take very long to put that together. Alright. Yeah, the camera angle definitely had the south door closed, which was weird because we know there is no south door. But you know how you can't expect the game to work in a way that makes sense after 6 years of development. What would that even... Okay, well, it turns out, yeah. So then there's nothing really to do here. I guess technically like opening up the other door for absolute safety and certainty. But I'm sure not expecting to see anything. So like... I'm trying to think. Like rooms that might be interesting. It certainly would be something to see the garage, and I kind of feel like maybe that's it, honestly. I don't really expect any of these other rooms to do anything super special once they're just by being outside. Yeah, I don't know. No? I mean, are any of the red rooms weird enough that they'll definitely be... Yeah, okay, Secret Passage is kind of an interesting one, right? Maybe Secret Passage? Although I don't know what I'm expecting. The shops, I would imagine, are just going to be shops. The green rooms probably look weird under the earth, but they're probably not like actually meaningfully different. I kind of do want to see some of them just to see, but I'm not expecting anything. The tunnel, maybe? Tunnel would be kind of interesting. I wonder if the throne room's weird when you draft it down there. Okay, so there's a couple of ideas. We have a couple of ideas. Ideas that I can go and pursue on my own. So I'll draft enough of this house to get one of those into a position where we can call it a night there. And I guess I'll see you in that. I'll see you then when that is the... Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I thought it would actually be interesting to get all the way up to the normal antechamber and see if it's still there. And it looks like it is. We're real tight on steps right now. So I did draft the garage, I did draft the secret passage, and these are things that we can try, but I have to be very cautious with my steps. I think if I've counted correctly here, I have enough steps to go into the antechamber, see if the pedestal comes up, see if it has the basement key on it, because that would be surprising given that I'm holding the basement key, and then from here make it back to the kitchen where I can stock up on steps to get to the room that we actually want to go to sleep in. So let's just hope that I counted correctly. We don't have enough steps to go into 46. Okay, absolutely nothing is different about that except, of course, that the key is not there, and why would it be? I guess I can open this, and if it's like... Okay, yeah, we just won't go in there. I was gonna say if it's like the dining room, we could dining room. Have I placed? I don't think I placed the dining room yet. No, I haven't. It's possible. So like the kitchen's right here, right? And if we can draft something useful off of the gallery or the dark room or the throne room. Wait, why did I think it was gonna take a bunch of steps? I can go through the dark room. Oh no, I can't. That's the back of the throne room. What am I talking about? So yeah, basically, if we could draft something off of here that connects to, like, lets us go south and into the east side of the throne room, we could get to the kitchen in relatively few steps, but that's far from certain, right? So I think I'm just gonna run back. So, and then we're going to. Do I want to buy something here while I'm here? Don't have quite enough keys for anything. Get an ornate drafting compass, which is extremely whatever. Chronograph that lets you... While drafting, you may rewind after drawing new floor plans. So I guess if you reroll, it lets you unreroll if you're not happy with the new results. I think we're good, honestly. I think we're all right. So through there, and then you do want to go through the corridor. Gotta be so careful here. Okay, throne room to kitchen, leaving me with exactly one step. And then I purchase a chef salad for 20 steps and every banana in the house. And then all of our problems are solved forever. In fact, all of them forever. Gone. Just gone. So, yeah, Secret Passage I think is the most interesting of the things here. So, cloister down to the chapel. This is a very weird looking house that I've drafted up today. Oh no, my coin. Yeah, it is necessary to go all the way through this. Is there anything that I would want to build? No, nothing that I even have the option of building. All right, let's do it right here and see how this goes. I'm not necessarily expecting a lot, but like, is it just going to open into a rock face? Maybe. Is it just going to open into the same space that we just saw? I hope not. I would hope that drafting the antechamber there is actually like meaningful in some way, right? That it leads to a special area that cannot be accessed otherwise. Otherwise, I don't know what that clue was about, the drawing in the back of the book. I feel like at this point I'm unsure why they do a lot of things. All right, day 77. Let's go and see. Because in theory, if that cavern is just a space that is behind the room, then this should get us into it just the same, right? I'm gonna draft for green. Nope. Okay. It just throws you a garbage space. Okay. So it is just the antechamber that gets you the little poem. All right. I don't really know what to make of that. Let me look at my to-do list here real quick. I think there's a lot of things here that are kind of... Yeah. So with a sense of what happens if you try to open up extra space under the outer room, do we have any rooms left that are interesting to draft out there? I think the answer is kind of no. I think I'm not super excited. Like, obviously, if you were trying to make something particular happen, something that isn't the boiler room, then boiler room connecting to something and powering it, then this room, this blessing would be helpful for that. But it doesn't seem to have a lot of utility for us. Yeah, it doesn't seem to have a lot of utility for us now. So these are the rooms that are already in the outer thing. Yeah, I don't know. We've made sense of the castle poem. Or rather, sorry, we haven't made sense of it. We figured out what it says, but it's not yet interpretable, as far as I can tell. There's something about potentially turning something counterclockwise to the east. But we don't know what it wants us to turn. There's that picture of the monitor that says delete it. There's reclaiming the throne, which we think we just got a note, which I think we just got a note about, but I don't know what else to do about it. And I guess at this point, the source of incoming hints would be like the blue tent memos, maybe, and the treasure trove memos again, maybe. The treasure trove memos have pointed us to something already that is something meaningful, but only so much, right? The thing I'm trying to decide right now is am I done? So apologies if it sounds like I'm not really like making forward progress here. I think I might be. I was definitely interested to put those rooms in those places and see what else unfolds. But at this point, I think this is maybe the point. I've reached the end. I've reached the end of my personal engagement. This is the point where I'm okay looking things up. So I guess, yeah, I guess I'm going to call it. I'm going to go ahead and say that is the final little bit of cleanup there. Thank you all so much for sticking with us. This has certainly been a journey. I think this is the point where I'm tapping out. There have been some very cool puzzles here. There have been some interesting mysteries. There's also been a lot of other stuff. And boy, what a bummer some of that other stuff has been. When you come back next time, finally, there will be something new in this slot. I know Amabel's looking forward to recording some new stuff. I'm looking forward to recording some new stuff. As you might imagine, over the months that this has been airing, the list has been growing. So when you come back next time, something new and cool, and we'll see you then.